Hey guys, what's up? My name is Eva. Welcome back to my channel, and today I wanted to talk about a topic that came to my attention a couple days ago. I was listening to a podcast about truth and honesty, and it was stemming around the topic of how to be honest with yourself and build trust with yourself. And I thought this was very interesting, and I kind of wanted to get into it because I feel like there's a lot of people, guys, that don't realize they're not honest with themselves about certain things. And that's probably because they're not in therapy. I'm just kidding. Although I do recommend therapy. It does help. Not a lot of people do this. They're not honest about how they feel, or not honest about, how they're feeling, and I feel like this is a very common thing that people just overlook. And it's a really small thing, but it ends up being a big thing, Like, for example, this is just an example. This is the only thing I could think of. Like, when somebody has a crush, guys, right? Like, this is just an example, but when somebody has a crush, but they don't want to admit that they like a person because maybe they're friends with them, or maybe that, they're their best friend's, like, brother or something. I don't know. Stuff like that. They just don't want to admit their feelings. It becomes a bigger issue because that crush grows. And then you'll have this crush for years and not tell the person, and then it, leads into this big cycle. And that's with any feeling you have, guys. That was just an example I wanted to give, but when you suppress a feeling, it only grows, okay? When you suppress a feeling, that feeling gets stronger, and it gets bigger, and it won't go away until you address it, guys. I don't care what anybody says, alright? If you are not addressing your thoughts, and not addressing the things that worry you, or upset you, or how you're feeling about anything, the problem is only going to get bigger. Okay? So make sure that when you're having certain thoughts or anxiety about certain things, that you do address it. Because the problem could stem and get bigger. Okay? When we are not honest with ourselves about what we want, we can be very offended by what people say about us that is the truth. Stay with me now, okay? People will tell you something, and this is not everybody does this, but I've realized I've done this before in the past, where people would come up to me and say something very truthful about myself, and I would be like, oh, that's not true, I'm not like this, I'm not like that, I don't do X, Y, and Z, but you do. You do. And you don't want to admit the truth about that, and you'll get very easily offended by what people say about you. And you know it's the truth. And I feel like that's a bitter pill to swallow, is that when you know somebody's telling the truth about you, and they say it to your face, and you deny it, it only leads you down a bigger hole. When you deny your feelings, you deny the people that are trying to help you, you will go down a bigger hole, guys. And you won't be able to get out of that hole and climb back up. You won't. It's not doing you a justice, trust me. Now, a lot of people do this too, and this just came into my mind. A lot of people overshare on the internet. Now, I've talked about, how you shouldn't compare yourself to other people on the internet, but now I want to talk about, I've said that in a couple different videos about, comparing yourself to people on the internet. I want to talk about how to not overshare on the internet, you know what I mean? Not everybody needs to see your growth and your success and how you're doing. I know that it's very fun, and the internet can be a very fun place, and we can, see what people are doing with their lives, and it is a great space, guys. It is a great community, But there's a bunch of cons that come with the platforms that we use every day. Like, sometimes it's not always respectful. Sometimes, people can be like buttholes, But I just urge you guys to please not share everything on the internet. Please don't. The reason I have these platforms, like the reason why I do YouTube and I have different social medias is so that I can spread positivity. That's what I want to do. That's what I'm about. I just want to do that and help people. I just want you guys to know that you don't have to share your entire lives with everybody. You know what I mean? I feel like some moments in your life are meant to be private, And I've had to learn that, to not overshare on the internet, to not tell everybody everything, because not everybody needs to hear it. You know what I mean? Not everybody needs to know how well you're doing or how much you're growing. Obviously, if you're very proud about something and you think it's okay to share, go ahead. But the older I get and the more wise I get about things, I'm starting to realize that I don't need to tell everybody everything. I don't have to post about everything that's happening in my life. You know what I mean? All these new things that I own I'm sorry guys, all these new things that I own or I have bought, you don't have to tell everybody everything. Yeah. Another thing I've been working on, and I wanted to mention this, it was brought up in this podcast that I was watching. I don't remember the name. I know somebody's gonna ask. I can't think of it. When I do, I will put it in the comments, I promise. In this podcast, they were talking about how people judge people that they don't even know, right? Like, I feel like not only do we self-compare on the internet, but I feel like we also judge people hard on the internet. Okay, so if you decide to go after somebody on social media, it might nip you back in the ass. Just remember that. So be very careful about, what you say. The last thing I wanted to talk about, guys, before I end this video, because I feel like I've been making this video for too long. And the last thing I wanted to talk about is to not make decisions based on how you feel. Okay, we all mess up. We all do things we regret. I'm trying to be better, but in the spur of the moment, if you're angry or mad, settle in your emotion for a second and just think about it. Think about why you're feeling this way and just kind of settle in that. Do not overreact. Okay, because first of all, it's going to bring your blood pressure way the frick up. It's gonna make you just hot-headed, and you're not thinking when you're hot-headed, right, guys? And we just kind of burst out with emotion and just say how we feel in the spur of it. But when you're feeling that emotion, just settle in the emotion for a second and breathe and just be like, okay, we got this. It's gonna be okay. It's okay. I just have to breathe and think about this rationally, right? Anyways, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Very random. I feel like this video was very random, but hope y'all enjoyed it. And comment down below what you think. And give me suggestions of what kind of videos you'd be interested in seeing. I feel like when I make videos, they're very spontaneous, and a lot of the times I make videos based off the podcasts that I listen to or conversations I have with my family or friends. So let me know what videos you guys would be interested in seeing. What different topics would you want me to cover? Anyways, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. And I will see you guys in my next video. Also, I forgot to mention this. I didn't say Happy Easter in my last video, I don't think. I know this is way past, but Happy Easter. I literally forgot to mention that. I don't know why I forgot to mention that in my last video. Anyways, I will see you guys later. Alrighty, y'all. Bye.